Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a really cool event. This is the Foreigner House versus the Koreans, with for the Foreigner House playing Scarlet, Nice, Rex, Reynor, as well as Astrea. And on Team Korea we have Cure, Ragnarok, Hero, Byun, and one more that I currently can't think of, but it's 5 players against 5 players with a really interesting format as well. There's basically 2 rounds, and in the first round we have 5 best of 1 matches that are predetermined here. So the first match is going to be Cure versus Scarlet. As we can see, every single time a player wins, they win a life for their own team, which they can take into round number 2. So let's say that Team Korea will win 5-0 in round 1. That means that in the second round they will get 5 lives on top of the default 1 life that you already have. So that means that Korea would have 6 lives, and Team Foreigner House I think they're called, will only have a single life, because that is the default life that they get. So a pretty cool little format here. Basically every win guarantees that you get to send out 1 extra player in the next round, and the last one standing, that is an all-kill format, the last one standing in that type of format is going to be the winner of the tournament. There's quite some prize money tied into this. I believe that first place team gets $1,700, the second place team gets $800. So even for just showing up and playing the 1 or perhaps 2 best of 1s that they need to play, they're already getting paid a decent chunk here, which is always nice, of course. Personally, I love it when players get paid well, because I am also a player. Sadly, I wasn't in Korea for this, otherwise I would have loved to play in this actual event as well, hosted by Oli Molly. The Oli Molly Invitational number 15 it was. Alright, let's take a look at these games here, now that we managed to explain the format in less than 3 minutes. Love to see it. A couple of queens are out here for Scarlet. Has she figured out that this was a fast reactor? I'm not sure if she actually figured it out, but it is possible that she saw this move out with the Overlord. Well, possible, very likely she saw the move out with the 6 Marines, with the Overlord, the 6 Marine move out. This is just for sniping Overlords, really. It's not going to work out. Scarlet has very solid positioning with her Overlord, knows exactly where to put these bad boys. And yeah, Cure's just gonna go back home. Had a fun night out with the lads, and now says, alright, time to get home, sober up a little bit, and then perhaps later on we can move out on the map again. And this could be, ooh, this is a weird build. Ooh, this is a really weird build. This almost feels like a Terran versus Protoss build order in 2011. You know, you get your reactored Marines out, Cloak Banshee, followed up with a tank, kind of take it from there. It's an interesting setup that we're seeing here. That is the one thing, that's for sure. Okay, now we do see a swap, so that's going to be a fast stim. What is this factory going to do? Perhaps build a second reactor? So we already see the 3rd command center coming in. For a second I thought I thought we were going to see perhaps some tanks being constructed. Yeah, there's going to be a barracks over here and then a second reactor. So it's just going... Is this like a 2-1-1 fake? Is this what it is? Or like maybe even a 3-Rex fake? Oh, great spot here out of Scarlet. I'm not sure if she spotted it though. She's not responding to it yet. That was an extremely important scout, because everything Scarlet is seeing right now was kind of indicating that this was going to be a very heavy Marine pressure, a 2-1-1 or a 3-Rex play. Now this Banshee is getting in here, spores aren't done, layer hasn't even started yet, queens are in position, but queens without detection are pretty useless against a Banshee. This Banshee is going to get 2 kills, 3rd kill, 4 kills. Big damage here coming out of the Banshee, hardly taking any damage whatsoever. These queens will be capable of pushing it away for now, as a layer needs to start soon. 1-1 is on the way for Scarlet, probably wants to be working towards a 4th base at some point in the near future, and also get a layer out. Takes a 3rd and a 2nd gas. While at the same time we see barracks 4 and 5 being constructed here for Cure. Is there a second Banshee? Yep, there is a second Banshee indeed. They pre-cloak, but one of the Banshees run out of cloak. With the Banshee that already had used it before, of course. So a little bit less energy in there. 2 more workers go down. 4 queens in the main base will be capable of pushing this away completely, I do believe. Yeah, there we go. Gets pushed away. Banshee took a decent hit as well. No Hellions on the ground. Despite that, a lot of links have been built, kind of to deal with that... that Hellion, the Marine threat that Cure had on the map earlier. Of course, Scarlet wasn't completely aware of what was going on. Let's open up the production tab, see what's kicking off on the side of Scarlet. We have a Baneling Nest, we have a Lair, we have 1-1 upgrades. So quicker upgrades for Zerg, but delayed, especially in the Baneling speed, could be painful here. Marine count is rather high as well, of course. We had that insanely early reactor building those 14 Marines initially already. Now 14 extra Marines have been added into that. And we're ending up with 28 Marines and 2 tanks, as well as 2 benches. This is a really nice timing that we're seeing here, by the way. This could just be like a game-ending type of timing. It's very, very possible. 34 more links are being produced right now, off of 63 drones. 1-1 is finishing up, that's actually kind of big. Combat, no 1-1 here for Cure. This link run by actually doing decent damage as well. Scarlet's so good at this, knowing her timings all too well. 13 SCVs get taken out for, well, I don't want to say for free, because a bunch of the links did end up falling. Now we have more links moving in towards the third base, and another 6-7 SCVs will end up dying. This push, I said, potentially could have game-ending consequences, but now it... Hello? Needs to have game-ending consequences. Imagine being a Banshee, seeing a bunch of queens all of a sudden start attacking the hatchery. Do you start like second doubting whether you're also supposed to be shooting the hatchery? Like, hey, my enemy is attacking the hatchery. Maybe it's not so good anymore. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So maybe queens are friendly then. There's a possibility. No Baneling speed here yet. 2-2 has started already for Scarlet. Don't think she's gonna get any connections with these Banelings on top of these Marines. That means that these queens also get pushed back right now, partially off creep. Still, Cure is extremely all-in, is not reproducing any SCVs here whatsoever. Banelings need to be morphed, Scarlet. What are we doing? Just walking back and forth with these links isn't going to get you anywhere. This queen is very low, still has a transfuse available. Perhaps needs to be pulled back. Can we start some new queen production? We have a lot of money in the bank here. 2-2 is, well, it's not going to finish in time for this. Now we finally see extra queens being built. There still is 12 queens around. Baneling speed has finished up as well during all of this. There's no more tanks here. This seems like a very weird type of game. It feels like Cure should be dead, but he's still hanging in there. Purely because Scarlet does not have the Baneling count to actually deal with this army. She currently has 0 Banelings. Marines trade extremely well against links, and if there's only queens, oh no. Cure with 36 workers against 62, not building anything, no upgrades, no follow-up, no nothing. I think it's just going to absolutely stomp over Scarlet here. Scarlet has nothing to do except, I guess, just leave the game at this point. Links steaming in. I think 2 little Banelings are being constructed. Lots of gas in the bank as well. Oi, 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 a little bit sloppy. This base didn't even need to be defended. Don't forget there was this bottom side base. You still had a 5th over here. You could have temporarily given up this position. Like, the moment 2-2 finishes, the game literally ends. Like, it actually ends. At that point, links become somewhat viable again against higher marine count. Could have waited for Baneling speed. That initial fight of... Ooh, actually, is this still over? A lot of tanks are being taken out. 2-2 has finished right now. I thought the game was over already, but don't forget, reinforcements for Terran take a while to get across the map. There's still 2 Banelings as well. Queen count is low. 58 workers against 36. Scarlet still outmining her opponent. GG gets called. Cannot quite get the units out in time. As Cure wins the first live here for Team Korea. And just like that, Korea winning their first live for that potential second round. Or for the potential second round. For the inevitable second round, I should say. As Reynor opens up with a hatchery first here on the low ground. And Hero, ooh, look at that. Opens up with a classic gas first. I love this type of move against your Saryls, against your Reynors. Even against a lot of the Korean Zergs that aren't Rogue and Ragnarok, I guess. So actually just Dark, I would probably like this against as well. Now, gas first basically allows you to start mining your gas a bit faster. It usually doesn't have much of a purpose because you want to be scouting, and it means you're not going to be oversaturated on your minerals that quickly. What happens in the case where you scout late or you don't scout at all, what happens is you get oversaturated in your minerals, so you'd rather have a faster gas. You can start mining a little bit of extra gas already, really, really quickly, and it allows for a Stargate that can be built so darn fast. It's insane. If you manage the gas mineral ratio correctly, you can technically, I think on this map, start a Stargate at 212. That is insanely fast. And it's going to be a proxied Stargate as well. I don't think the gas mineral ratio has been done correctly here. I think there's slightly too much gas, actually, funnily enough. Also out of position right now with this worker. That means it's going to be like a 5-second delay on that Stargate. That's actually really sloppy. A 4-second delay. I think he could have thrown it down at 213 if I was counting correctly. Oh, that is super sloppy actually out of Hero. It sounds like I'm it sounds like I'm kind of nitpicking here, but it's really important, those 4 extra seconds, especially within a proxy build. Like, that can be the difference between a queen popping out or not. Reynor, though, realizing there was no probe scout whatsoever, goes around the map and sees this Stargate being proxied. That is just beautiful stuff. That is absolutely fantastic. Now knows that he'll need to... Yep, second queen immediately moving in towards this base. Yeah, this is a very good call. This is the correct call as well. Actually, should have waited for maybe either another tumor or an inject here. I'm not quite sure how you want to do that as a Zerg, but... okay, so just gonna get a creep tumor faster in the main base, though. That's also completely allowed. I'm okay with that, 100%, that's for sure. Yeah, so... this is also kind of what I was talking about, right? Like these 5 extra seconds. Like, look at this queen. It's going to pop out right now. Imagine if the Oracle had arrived 5 seconds faster. It probably could be in the base by the time that third queen wouldn't be there. So even in this scenario where you get scouted, it still would have been very, very valuable to get that Stargate down as fast as you could. Hero actually getting supply block here, and not because he lost the pylon, but because he's playing this out quite poor. He just made a big mistake. This is going to cost him at least 3 workers. This is a significant supply block here this early into the game. You're not fully saturated yet on this mineral patch, which means you're losing a maximum amount of income. And these are just 3 probes that you'll need to build later on in the game again. Don't forget, a pylon takes 18 seconds. And if you're producing from 2 nexus at the same time, 18 seconds is literally 3 probes. It's 1.5 probe on each single nexus. A probe takes 12 seconds, and half of 12 seconds is 6. Yeah, 12 and 6 together, you get 18. Very nice. Some basic mathematics. Quick maths, as they call it these days. Ooh, Spina could actually get taken out. All these units could get taken out, and the Lynx could get in as well. This is a painful little sequence of things happening here for Hero. It's going to lose 1 more worker here, and maybe even... no. That one doesn't die. Double oracles do get activated. This is just painful all around, honestly. This has been a very, very painful affair. Reynor does feel forced into building a road worm, perhaps because he saw a couple of adepts and like a Twilight Council as well. Like, you don't know if this is Glaive or if it's Blink. Something that's important to note, of course. There is some ambiguity there. You know something is being researched, but you don't know quite what it is. Technically, could have also been charged, but as there was literally 0 zealots, wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense. Fourth gas is being seen as empty still here by Reynor. Overlord actually providing some real value here. I think that's one of the reasons why we're also seeing these blind roaches being produced. Not sure if this is really necessary at this point. Do a very fast Evo chamber that's not being used either. Like, what is really the pressure that right now Hero can put on? Where Queen Ling wouldn't be enough. I think you could have waited a little longer with those roaches. But maybe I'm incorrect. I am not a Zerg player after all. Maybe if I would have died a couple of extra times against builds like that, I would have understood. This is relatively all in, by the way. This is a 6 gate, I think, is what we're looking at right now. And that means that perhaps Reynor was justified in doing what he did. These 2 adepts actually getting some damage done. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's gonna go up to 8 workers. Good split shots there out of Hero. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but I think it might have been. 10 workers get taken out there. That means that Hero, despite semi-all-inning right now, or at least putting on some heavy pressure, is actually in an economic lead, which is wild. That is legitimately crazy. We see Reynor teching into range upgrade, so I think Reynor realizes that he's behind and says, okay, I don't have a fort base, I don't have that many drones either. You know what I'm gonna be doing? I'm just going to go into Roach Hydra. Roach Ravager Hydra, it's a good composition to stay alive with. It is a terrible composition if the Protoss player eventually gets into carriers. because transitioning out of Roach, Hydra, Viper, Lurker into Corruptors, that is a very, very painful transition. And it's a slow transition. You already need a lot of gas for Lurkers and for Vipers. And Zerg, oh, this is a hell of a wall. Hero's inability to wall never ceases to amaze me, really. It's one of the many impressive things that he does. Ooh, interesting blink 4. Work. Gets every single link there. Supplies are in favor of Reynor. Doesn't necessarily mean that Reynor is ahead, because right now he's producing pure Roach, Ravager, and an Infestation Pit on 66 drones. Fort base is actually slower than the fort base for Hero, by a very small margin, but still. It is important to note. It is very important to note. Hive is on the way already, still on 3 base eco as well. I think if you were to give this position to any Zerg that isn't Reynor, they'd say this is unplayable. Or almost unplayable. This is just a really, really bad position. The one advantage that Reynor currently has is the upgrade advantage. The question for me is how much longer will that last, right? Also, I feel like these roaches are being countered hardcore by the current stalkers out already on the map. There's not enough links, there are no upgrades on the links. This means that I don't even think there's any real counterplay that Reynor can do right now, except just trying to do stuff with roaches on the left side, but you get caught out so easily with roaches. This really is something that is kind of underrated. Or maybe the roach is overrated in that regard by the Terrans and Tosses, is that it's not a good unit for run-bys. It's difficult to get away with. It doesn't get in there so fast. Unless you have Tunneling Claws, you really have no solid escape. And even Tunneling Claws is not a solid escape either, right? It's kind of a gimmicky escape. Because you move slower, you just hope your opponent doesn't have detection, which they often don't, of course. Especially Terran players often don't really have any mobile forms of detection. They do tend to have some scans by default, though. Interesting traits here happening. As the hero tries to push up this ramp. I like what Reynor is doing on this map right now, saying, hey, I can be stable on 3 bases, or on 4 bases, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I will first stabilize on those 4 and then take a 5th base. He's not rushing, he's not pushing out the creep too far, he's saying I'm just defending my closest by creep tumors. I'm making sure that run-bys cannot kill me by not expanding overly aggressive, and then I hope you attack into me. And so far Hero is doing exactly that, just attacking into his opponent, and I think Reynor's going to be pretty glad about that. Reynor just doesn't want to fight in the open. I think the main plan that you have here as a Zerg player is that you take a bunch of these hits, and then eventually you hold, and then you launch one big counter attack. And behind that you can take a 5th base, and then you hope that you can kill your opponent. That's basically the plan. This is probably the fight that we're talking about in that regard. We see a big push out on the left side as well, so this is being pushed back, this is being held. I don't think this is enough for Reynor to just pick up and start moving across the map though. This, however, looks very promising here. Hero in a bit of trouble right now, is going to lose a bunch of stalkers, some missed move commands, blinks on top of these roaches as well. It's going to lose a lot of supply. These are +2 roaches, mind you. Link's tanking a lot of the stalker shots, meaning that these roaches, hydras, as well as the lurkers in the back are getting a decent chunk of damage in. And Reynor's just going to push this back in a big way. Seismic Spine's finishing up. We have 1 run-by. This is an absolutely vital run-by right now, because without this, I think we'd see a straight-up attack out of Reynor. I think Hero would just die. We have triple robots on the way immediately. Hero realizing how crap his army is. His upgrades aren't even that good either. He's just getting +2. Now, this is not the double forge style that we were used to seeing from Hero. No, this is all single forge stuff. So, yes, that means you're playing with very disposable, cheap units, but they're not even fighting that well. Like, usually the nice thing about Zealots is that if they're fighting 5 Zealots against 5 roaches, and you have like 2 Zealots against +2 roaches, you're feeling pretty okay about that. You're getting efficient trades, and you're most likely outmining your opponent. But here, okay, now Hero is outmining his opponent, especially mineral-wise, but upgrade-wise he's actually down. Tech-wise he's definitely down. Resources lost, he's down 1500 resources. That is a big deal against a Zerg. It's something that's extremely uncommon. And I also believe that Reynor's army currently is a lot more valuable. Look at that. The army value of Reynor, especially when it comes to the gas, which is a vital resource for proper army building for TOS. I mean, the TOS, it's just Stalkers. Stalkers and like half an Immortal on the way. There might be, 3 Sentries. I mean, these don't fight either. They're great at holding chokes, but that's about it. These Lurkers are going to get caught out a little bit. And there's no mobile detection here. The cannon really was the only thing helping Hero out, spotting all of this crap. I think this game just practically ends here. All Robos will be depowered as well. 2 Immortals are not going to be cutting it against this Lurker count. This run by will get blasted as well by the Lurkers that were just kind of chilling around. We still have some Lurker play here on that right side. Sentries, Zealots, everything gets absolutely destroyed here. And Reynor holds at home. Hero doesn't hold at home and also doesn't get any damage in whatsoever. We have practically the final run by here, but that's going to be about it. This is an army without a lot of backup. I think Reynor needs to be a little bit careful about that, where you have an army that's so vulnerable to like a Zealot flank that you don't send all of your Lurkers back home, and that's exactly what happened here. I'd be a little bit afraid here if I were Reynor, but at the same time he's up like, what, 60, 70 army supply. He's losing 2 bases right now. At the same time, this one might actually survive. The Adrenal Glands finishes up as well, is definitely going to help out. Melee level 1 has already finished up, +2 is on the way. DT is being warped in as well. GG gets called as Reynor takes out Hero in the second game and will tie up this series in lives. And here we are in game number 3 between Rex and Ragnarok. Rex, for the people that don't know, is a player for On-Site Gaming, the team of Maru, Neep, Crank, and there's one more, I'm thinking. Solar, right, Solar. Recently leaving Kaisi Gaming and joining On-Site. Yeah, and Rex is a Taiwanese player that has been around for a while. Actually, back in the day, this is not many people know this, I used to play in a tournament called the TESL, the Taiwanese Esports League. For that I moved to Taiwan for 6 or 7 weeks or so. And we played a league for 8 weeks. I stayed in a team house there with people from YE Spider, which was a Taiwanese esports team. And Rex also was part of that team. So back then I lived with Rex. This was, I think, 2013 or 2014. A very, very ancient past. And back then he was an up-and-coming Zerg. And now he's up and come, basically. He's a little bit more established, still not an absolute top player, not one of the favorites to even win the Taiwanese leagues often, because that's still going to be nice and Haas majority of the time. Rex does have fairly good English. Always enjoyed speaking with him back in those times. Let's take a look at this game though, as Ragnarok is doing Ragnarok things, cutting 6 drones, building a lot of links. He's going to trying to go for a cancel here on this hatchery. Did those Banes just get cancelled, or what happened there? Ooh! Sloppy play out of Rex, misusing one of those Banelings actually. And I don't think this pressure is quite going to work out. We do see Ragnarok morphing in 2 more Banes here on the bridge. Not so sure if this is going to be it. No, good spot here out of Rex. Seeing those Banes. Ragnarok behind this is droning up slower than Rex. Now you could say that's a mistake, but at the same time you could say maybe Ragnarok knows that there's a hole in the defense here. Rex is going to try to go for a counterattack. Oh, Banelings will stay alive for now. I think Rex is actually fairly far ahead. The only thing Rex needs to do right now is not die. Sometimes that's a more difficult task than I make it out to be right now. These links are at least going to scout more links popping out. There's no supply block either. There's no larva available though. That sucks. Extra Banes need to be produced probably right away. Oh, Rex built one more drone here. Surely that's a mistake. Oh my god! That could have been a huge hit, but it wasn't. Queens need to move into position ASAP. As now I do believe that this third base is going to end up falling. Very painful situation here for Rex. This is like an infinite amount of Banelings coming in here. Trying to take out drones, trying to take out other things. More Banes being morphed out of Ragnarok. Also a couple of Banes coming in for Rex. A Baneling connected with two Banelings of Ragnarok. 3 workers being taken out. As long as this hatch survives, this seems semi-playable here for Rex, honestly. And so far it's surviving. These 2 Banes right next to it are worrying me a little bit. 7 Roaches about to pop out as well. Ragnarok wasting about 4 Banelings there. Roaches coming out, are going to try and hold this hatchery. Will they be capable of doing just that? I think the answer is going to be a loud and a resounding yes. I think Ragnarok is actually losing here. The The back-to-back, what is it, round of 4, round of 6 finisher in the GSL is in a terrible spot against someone that hasn't qualified once in their life for the GSL. Uh-oh. Lynx coming in, will get the hatchery here. Oi, oi, oi. Rex building 7 overlords at a time. So you could even wonder if this hatchery is that vital right now. If drones aren't in production, maybe Rex's entire plan was already to go for a +1 timing attack. We immediately see a spine go down here for Ragnarok on the low ground, using these Lynx to take out these roaches. Oh, Rex. Sloppy plays here coming out of you, my friend. This is not it. Losing units for free again and again and again. Missile attacks level 1 is going to finish up right now, as we see a lot of units in production for Ragnarok. Don't forget, as long as that third base isn't really a necessity for Rex, this isn't necessarily brilliant for Ragnarok. And right now we don't see, well, we see a little bit of oversaturation here. Like 3-4 workers that ideally would be mining somewhere else. We have 4 more drones coming in as well for Ragnarok. Income-wise though, I don't think this is too bad. I think there's a hotkey for that. But, just like, you can see like the graphs and stuff. I wish I knew these hotkeys. Nah, this is not it. God, I'm gonna have to ask someone about it. Maybe it's only with a certain mod as well that it's possible. You have all these weird mods. I'm a true StarCraft 2 boomer. I don't know. I don't understand how this works. Back in my day, you just opened a custom game, and what was in the custom game was in the custom game. Nowadays, with all these mods, it's become a proper mess. I wish we could just go back to the first UI of StarCraft. It was so ugly. If you go back in time and watch like some old Wings of Liberty videos, the UI of StarCraft 2 looked ridiculously bad. Like, that did not age well. I'm glad that they changed that at some point, because it was really just extremely ugly. I think the Warcraft 3 UI aged relatively well. It looked quite nice, but the StarCraft 2 stuff looked terrible. What else looks terrible here is this spire coming out of Ragnarok. And the reason why I say it looks terrible is because there's a bunch of roaches knocking at the door. I'm not so sure if they can actually do anything though. I actually know for sure they can't do anything. At the same time, these Lynx coming in for a counterattack will perhaps be capable of taking out this hatchery. It's going to be relatively close. No upgrades on these Lynx, upgrades on the roaches. Oh, for the second time this game, we see a hatchery being taken out. Actual pain here. This is actual pain. Creep Tumor will get sniped as well by these roaches. More Ravagers on the way. There is potential for a +2 timing, but at the same time, Ragnarok really only needs to survive at this point. He just needs to not die, and I don't know, I don't think that's a very difficult task. Oh, he's gonna be caught out of position, allowing Rex to just walk in here. What a huge error. What? Ragnarok falling asleep at the wheel there. Oh no, he said Jesus take the wheel, but Jesus wasn't hearing him. Oh, this is over. Absolutely over. +2 is finishing up as well right now for Rex. Once that finishes and he's in between bases, that's it. That is it. Yeah, this game. Game set and, well, not match, but definitely game. Level 2 against level 1 and 82 army supply against 54. You also still have those split roaches coming in from multiple angles, which makes it so much easier for Rex to kind of maneuver here. This is absolutely game Rex with a very unexpected win. This was one of the players where I'd say, well, Team Korea has a free win basically. Apparently the foreigner scene has a lot more depth than I really understood. Very powerful ZVZ player coming out of our boy Rex. Very nice. Taking a point for the foreigner house. Oi, Ragnarok's gonna be sweating bullets. Coming out of that game, having to tell your teammates that you lost to the weakest player on the opposing team. It's never a fun story, let me tell you. I've played a lot of team competitions in my life. This has happened to me a couple of times. And this was an important one. Rex taking the win. Very big win here for the Taiwanese Zerg player and for the foreigner house. And we'll be heading into our 4th series. And that brings us to game number 4, Creator versus Astrea. Creator was the final player that I forgot. So afterwards we'll have Byun versus Nice, I guess. That will be the final match. These are the 2 last players. Byun for Korea and Nice, the Taiwanese player playing for the foreigner house as well. We'll have to wait and see what this match is going to bring us. It's going to be a curious one indeed. Late second gas here for Creator. Ooh, he's gonna 1-gate expand. with a high ground gate. Oi, 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 oi. Is this really what we want? So let me explain the theory behind this. Basically, you're building a gateway on the high ground. You're delaying your second gas a little bit. And if your scouting probe, no, that's the wrong one. If your scouting probe doesn't meet your opposing or your opponent's scouting probe, you know that they're most likely second gateway scouting. That is not in time to block a nexus. And a lot of the time with a second gateway scout, you actually see players go for a second pylon proxy, which is indeed happening here. So, first of all, Astrea will now not be aware yet of the fact there's a fast nexus, and also he can't respond with anything anymore because this info is so late. He already has built a pylon, and it's going to be painful. This is interesting. You also have a lot of time as creator here to figure out what the actual proxy is going to be. So, there's a lot of interesting little things here, at least in my mind. I find these things interesting. Sentry Stalker as an opener for Astrea. Okay, this is something else. Stalker Warpgate coming in for Creator. This also is something else. Wow. It's gonna throw down a robotics facility then, huh? Have to. You absolutely have to. You're forced into that. Ooh, Sentry got cancelled. Pylon is going to try and block this. Oh no. That got spotted, no? That got spotted. Yeah. I think that definitely got spotted. That Nexus finished just in time. Very important. Otherwise, we could have seen a pylon and a gateway there. Twilight Council is a follow-up. You have a gate. Excuse me? The audacity of this build. The audacity. That is actually ridiculous. Stalker Warpgate into Stargate. This is not safe at all. This is like climbing a mountain with ice skates. It sounds fun when you tell your friends about it, but then when you're actually on Mount Everest, I can assure you wish you had some nice boots on you. Actually, I'm not sure what people use for mountain climbing. Just some hiking boots, I guess, right? Mountain climbing always sounds like more climbing, but in reality you can just walk up there, isn't it? I don't think there's too much climbing involved in climbing Mount Everest. I've seen the people that do it. There's no way that, you know, some of these people definitely do not do the actual climbing. They just walk. Maybe you need to like step up at some point. I've never went to Mount Everest. I once climbed up a mountain in Norway though. Or climbed, like I said, just hiked up and down the mountain. It really wasn't all that much. Also went up glaciers. That was a lot of fun. There I do think we had special boots to get stuck in like the ice, so you don't slide away. Anyway, this build is absolutely unsafe, and I think Astrea just is punishing this. I want to say this is a build order win, but I'm also wondering what Creator's build is actually good against. He's gonna get a little bit of damage here with his Oracle. 2 worker kills, not going to be enough. There was some overproduction already in the worker, some oversaturation in this base. Good move. Do like that out of Astrea. Had a little bit of money to spare, said, hey, I can just get 2-3 extra workers, will provide me some money in the long run. And also in case an Oracle shows up, that's great. 37 workers, extremely late Stargate. Like there could have been 2, maybe even 3 Void Rays out at this point already, but that's not the case here, obviously. There's no full wall, there's no cannons. Like this is, it feels like Creator has never played 1 gate in his life before and just thought it would be a fun thing to do. This is kind of what this smells like. It's like, Blink is already done and you're starting your 2nd Void Ray? There's people that have 3 Void Rays and half an Immortal done at this point with 2 cannons at the front. Like this was insanely greedy. I can't get over how greedy this is. This isn't a game anymore, by the way, which is why I was talking about my Norway trip. Like the game ended the moment Creator decided to build a Stargate at that 3-minute mark. What an awful build order. Creator types out W, says here is your W. And indeed, the 3rd life for Team Foreigner House. God, I want to see this again. What was the... I just don't understand the response. I rate Creator as a smart player, but this was a lot of things, but not very smart. It was bad. This is garbage, this build order. 2nd Stalker into just Stargate with no scout. I guess he believed it was going to be like What did he believe, actually? There was no battery in the main base in case of an Oracle proxy. You're not gonna hold an Immortal proxy with this. You wouldn't have held a 3-gate proxy. You would have died against everything. So, just for reference, an Immortal proxy would hit right now with 4 Stalkers and an Immortal. You're dead if you have 2 Stalkers, a battery, and 5 workers. It's over, okay? This game has ended. If this is 3-gate, you're going to be hitting with like 8 Stalkers in 10-15 seconds from now. Without a wall, you're also dead. Oracle first of all, insanely risky. This is actually crazy. This entire build is crazy. I feel like this should count double here for Team Foreigner House. I can't believe you went for this. Just continued building workers as well. Twilight Council is a complete misread. Just a complete misread. Did not understand what was happening here at all. Oi, 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 oi. Well, 3-1 in favor of the Foreigner House, and we'll head into our final game of round 1. Alrighty, here we are with the final game of the round 1, providing the lives for next round. Byun is opening up with a classic Byun move. Classic Byun, actually classic Byun. And Nice also opening up with a classic Nice move. Opening up with a very fast... Ooh, what is this? Is that quick? No, that's regular timed. Just a no scout. So that means a lot of focus here on the minerals. Marine kind of pokes around looking for proxies. It's not going to find it. Because there are no proxies. It's a little bit like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it. Did the tree really fall or did it make a sound? Is that what they say? The same with a Marine. If a Marine went out looking for proxies, but there are no proxies there. No, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Never mind. I take back everything I said. They are not analogous whatsoever. This Marine, I like the scouting pattern of this Marine, by the way. This guy's pretty smart. Going for the gold as well, just checking it, making sure. I think that's a good move, generally. Like 99% of the time, I think that's a good move. Yeah, no, I actually really like that. I hadn't thought of that. It's something that Terrans do need to consider, of course, the gold base. Toss can take that, Terran really can't. It's not viable. Like, Terran just needs too much defense. Stalkers would absolutely destroy that. This Marine's going to sacrifice his life for the minion. And will not get anything out of it. Another life lost. I don't think Arcturus Manx will give a crap. The guy seems like a proper prick. A real villain. Oh. It's gonna get in. That's a nice scout, actually. Seeing no tech labs on this, I'd be pretty happy with it. I'd be stoked. If I were Nice here, I'd be like, okay, that's good. Right, you know exactly what you're up against. It's going to be a mine drop guaranteed. It's going to be a single mine drop. I would have expected at least a double mine drop. Single mine drops just are extremely uncommon. Seeing it happen here is surprising. Will allow for a fast Raven, which is nice, I guess. Well, it's nice for Byun at least. 3 more gates on the way. Okay, this is going to be a 4-gate blink. Blink will not be done in time. Battery in the main base, practically useless. Low worker count on the natural. There's not going to be any extra units produced right now. Oh, Marine mine drop. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. I really do like that. Mine moving towards the ramp, and that allows for the incoming move here, where we see a liftoff, and then a move in towards... Oh, no, it's not gonna happen. You could have done that, right? You can put the mine on the ramp to zone out the units in the main, and then drop the Marines in the natural. That is a move that we've seen in the past. Now, Byun now quickly needs to start defending at home. We already see this siege tank coming out. Is that the first of many? That is indeed the first tank that we have. Raven has finished. The Marine drop is still on the map though. That could potentially have some sad side effects here for Nice. If this Marine drop flies in, ends up killing like 5-6 workers, this build gets way more all-in all of a sudden. Like, this is a very thin rope that this build is walking when it comes to the eco and the unit production, like that type of balance with those things, right? So if you're losing just 3-4 workers and a full pool away from minerals, it's extremely painful because you can't really afford a fort base anymore. This is not an all-in, this is a semi all-in or a heavy pressure, as we call it. You need to deal damage, but you can definitely macro out of it. But you can't macro out of it if you're constantly losing mining time. Now, there is a battery in the main base that's going to provide some value. Units being warped in at home will help defend this. Blink forward out of nice. Needed 2 shots there. It's going to lose a couple of stalkers as well. Raven throws in only a single auto turret. If that was 2 auto turrets, I think this could have been really good for Byun. Now it's just regular good for Byun. 9 workers have been taken out on the other side of the map. That makes this attack out of nice completely all in, and this defense out of Byun is practically complete. We have Stim. No, wait, what? We haven't even started Stim yet? Okay, we're starting it now. I thought Stim was already done. Okay, well, that changes things a little bit. This blink also changes things a little bit. It changes in the timing where Nice will need to leave this game, because it's now truly over. It's going to be, what, like 7 Stalkers against 2 tanks, 16 Marines. This is practically impossible at this point to win here for Nice. It's that's an actual fact. I don't quite see how Nice is going to try to get into this. 3 more Stalkers charge, so maybe like a jump with 3 Zealots in there as well. Can take out both of these depots, which is something. It's a start, but that's really all it is. Come on, be careful, buddy. Be careful. Gets that depot at least. Stalker count at 10, still not enough to one-shot. Need 11 Stalkers to one-shot a tank. Adept's going to finish up. Ooh, if it can deal a little bit of damage on the tank, and then you blink in with 10, boom, all of a sudden you can one-shot it. Or one volley, I should say. Imagine a Stalker could one-shot a tank. That would be sick. That's a unit I would build all the time. Imagine a Stalker just was like a massive disruptor. And it would just shoot a disruptor shot. Like the same damage as a disruptor shot, but just on one guy. Oh, that would be so godly. Also really broken. I understand why they didn't put that in. Ooh. Look at that. Good scan here, out of Byun. Kind of want to show what he saw. Sees no worker production. Sees this pylon still being there. And probably knows that this base isn't saturated. So, yeah. Is there any pressure on Byun currently to go do something? No, not really. Byun can just stick at home and say, alright buddy, come at me. Massive supply block, by the way, here for our Korean Terran player. Ooh, I like that scan. I just scanned for the people that missed it. I almost missed it. Byun scanned the gold base, because this would have been a very natural follow-up here for Nice, taking the gold base. So I like that Byun wanted to make sure that that ain't going up, because in that case you can start falling behind very rapidly. The income boost that that provides is pretty crazy initially, even if it's just 6 gold mineral packs. It's not quite as bad as on Pride of Altaris. Dual tanks sitting here. I think they're going to get absolutely blasted. This will be like a semi-base trade move coming out of Nice. The moment his opponent moves out, he's just going to blink over, I think. So he's just... I just don't think that Byun will ever move out, because he doesn't need to. He does not need to at all. 58 workers against 46. Here we go. Blinking towards the natural. And now he pretty much... The funny thing is, I think that Nice actually should have waited longer. Yes, the situation is getting worse and worse, but at the same time, you have the element of surprise. Now the surprise is completely gone. There's still tanks everywhere. Byun now for sure will know to never do anything. Just throw down a sensor tower even, if you truly wants to. Could also just move out across the map, because he's so far ahead. 1200 minerals in the bank for Nice. Can't build a Nexus yet for whatever reason. Prism was trying to get in, probably trying to get a warp, and that's why he was floating so much. It's often the case. Still has 500 though, definitely can afford a Nexus. Yep, there we go. 46 workers against 56. Upgrades in favor of Byun. Tank count is at 5. Marauder count is a little bit low, which he needs to be careful about. And there's actually positions here where I think Nice can fight. Might want to blink on top. Yeah, I was thinking of this as well, and then I thought to myself, maybe it actually isn't that great. The moment he did it, I was like, actually, is that really it? Probably not, right? Yeah. Can just kite back easily. Well upgraded Marauders with plenty of upgrades as well. Plenty of medevac healing. Yeah, it's not gonna be it. So let's move in towards this position right now. We'll get blasted by this turret, but not before the tank gets taken out. I mean, Nice is trying to force it. He's trying to push the issue, but he's dead. It's time to accept it. I think, at least. You're gonna have a triple DT drop. But there's turrets everywhere. There's 2 turrets per base, basically. Except for this one. This one has none. Single scan, Prism gets taken out, DTs get taken out. Here comes, I guess, the final attack. Byun's just going to wait for Ghost, push across the map, instantly win the game. Right? There's nothing that can deal with Ghost right now. It's a pure Stalker army. They already suck against just the Bio Medevac. But Bio Medevac Ghost. Tank. Let's not forget about the tanks as well. Tanks are pretty darn decent. Uh-oh, can't blink in here, buddy. Cannot do that. Need some vision on that tower first, and I more meant like you shouldn't. Like you can't, but you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Uh-oh, yeah, that's it. See a stim in immediately. 5, 6 Stalkers will end up dying. Oh my god, no, like 8 Stalkers end up dying here. And this is terrible. This is actually terrible stuff to watch. If you're a Protoss fan, this is one of the longer death animations that I've seen in a while. As Nice is getting blasted off the face of the earth here by Byun. He's building a 4cc right now, saying, well, I do enjoy attacking, but I also enjoy doing nothing, sitting back. Maybe he's changing some songs on Spotify, thinking about what to do with the rest of the day. You know, he's plenty of time right now. There's not really anything going on. Misses an EMP, which is impressive. Didn't even know that was possible to miss. They're almost instant, and they have the radius of, well, what is a large radius actually? An object, I don't know, like, of planet Earth. Yeah, it's relatively large. Even for an EMP. Triple drop shows up. I'm not even sure if a recall can stop this. If you recall 25 Stalkers into this, I think you lose like 15 Stalkers. Probably lose every single Stalker actually. If you're in position already, it's different. But if you need to move yourself into position, I think you'll just lose this base. Couple of Zealots will help out, but these Stalkers are not gonna get home either. This is like a third of the army that Byun has. And even with the entire force that Nice has, it would have been difficult probably. Because there's just not enough Zealots. There's no upgrades. Are we +1 now? No, still no upgrades. It's going to be 2-2 against 0-0. Forward base flying over already, blink forward and then get blasted. That's pretty much the plan here that Nice had. GG gets called. Score 3-2. And that is going to be it for round number 1. That means that for tomorrow's video, where we'll be covering round 2, is that Team Foreigner House will have 4 lives and Team Korea will have 3 lives because they managed to win 2 games and the Foreigners managed to win 3. The default 1 life. Do we all still understand it? I think we do. So tomorrow that video will be online with the round number 2. And we'll see who's best, Foreigners or Koreans. I'll see all of you then. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you another time. Ciao, ciao.